What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Final Whistle. I hope you guys have had a happy holidays. This is we're going to be doing one episode this week because Friday is Christmas, and that's when I usually drop my podcast on Friday. I've got two guests with me this week from Tied Up Entertainment from Ride the Couch, Justin and Andrew DiPietro. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on, taking the time out of your day.
Thank you, Blaine. Thank you for having us. I'm hyped for this.
Pleasure to be here on the Final Whistle. I'm really excited.
Yeah, we got a great slate. And the real thing is, welcome to opening day of the NBA. Who knew that we would just be right back around the corner seeing some NBA basketball again? We got two games on slate tonight. We got Brooklyn versus Golden State. Kevin Durant's return going against his former club in Golden State. As you mentioned, Golden State Warriors are a new look team. Kelly Oubre is now on the squad to help out with Andrew Wiggins and Steph Curry. No Klay Thompson due to his injury. Gentlemen, what do we see in this first matchup that's going to be taking place today? And how great is it just to have basketball back?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely two new look teams from last year. I mean, the Warriors adding Kelly Oubre. They're going to have full season out of Wiggins, drafted James Wiseman. I'm really excited to see what they look like. And Brooklyn's looking scary. With Kyrie finally seeing another guy who he can trust, and Kevin Durant. Not to mention, they're so deep. They got Spencer Dinwiddie. They got Joe Harris. They got Landry Shamet in the offseason. They got Jarrett Allen, DeAndre Jordan, Karis LeVert. Like, the list goes on and on. So, I mean, I think this is going to be a really exciting matchup. Definitely going to set the tone for the NBA season and see what these two teams are all about.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. KD plays the Warriors, goes against Steph Curry. Everyone's going to be excited to see that matchup. I can't wait. Shortest NBA offseason ever. And I'm sure you're just as excited as me. I love this new look Warriors team. I think a starting lineup, if they throw out Steph, Oubre, Wiggins, Draymond, and Wiseman, I think that's an elite defensive lineup that can score too. But I think the Nets might overwhelm them tonight in game one. Like, they're a really good team. They're really talented. And I think they're out to show people that they're not going to start off slow and they want to go out. KD's going to beat his former team handily in game one.
Absolutely. And KD's already came out and said that this is just another game. It's not another game. Come on. You got injured in the finals. There was the whole issue between whether or not he was healthy or not coming back in those NBA finals, and he ended up tearing his Achilles. Come on now. There's a little bit of spite there that's going to be taken out tonight, I think. Watch out for a monster game from Kevin Durant. And then our second game tonight, Clippers-Lakers, the matchup everybody wanted in the Western Conference Finals that didn't take place because the Clippers couldn't handle business. We're going to see the Clippers have gone through a change. No Doc Rivers no more. You have Ty Lue now as the head coach. Going to be really different. Montrezl Harrell flipped. He's now a Laker. So it's going to be interesting. Serge Ibaka's come into the Clippers. We'll see. What do you guys want to see from that matchup?
Yeah, this is one of those interesting scenarios where I think both teams upgraded in a way. I mean, the Lakers, they lost JaVale and Dwight Howard, but in return, you get Harrell and Marc Gasol. I mean, I'll take that any day. Dennis Schroeder, yeah, I can't forget about him in the backcourt. The Clippers, flip over to the Clippers. At the same time, I think Serge Ibaka is somewhat of an upgrade over Harrell. He's definitely taller. He's a better rim protector. He's a better defender, and he's a way better shooter. We saw in the playoffs last year, Serge Ibaka is low-key a sniper. So I think he'll definitely be able to help space the floor in that Clippers offense. I also love the Luke Kennard signing. I think he's going to be able to fit in really well there and shoot the ball well. So there's going to be a really interesting matchup. I got to take the Clippers in this one just because I feel like they're definitely salty about what happened last year. I think Paul George is going to have a bounce back year. He's upset about what people have been saying about him, and I think he's going to be able to prove people wrong. I mean, he was an MVP finalist not a few years ago. So I'm liking the Clippers in this one. I'm liking them this season too. I think they're going to have a really big year.
Yeah, this is going to be a great matchup. I'm excited to see former Raptors big men, Ibaka, Gasol, going at each other.
Great.
Those were absolutely huge signings for both teams. The Lakers got scarily better than they were last year, but the Clippers were the only team last year that I thought could beat the Lakers, but they just couldn't guard Jokic, and Jokic took them down. But I still think they're equipped to beat this Lakers team. Kawhi Leonard, I'm afraid to see what he looks like when he's motivated, because I don't know what he was playing for last year, coming off a championship, just got the contract in LA. This year, like, there's a fire under him. Like, he had best player in the world titles, like, being thrown out last year, and that all went down the drain in the playoffs. And I can't imagine he's too happy about it. And he might come out here and show LeBron who the best player in LA is.
Well, you got to remember, he had those commercials saying the king is about to take this crown across the street, or whatever it was, something like that. But still, he had, and then he failed. They blew a 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets, and
really
bad. You could easily see LeBron in the bubble sipping his whiskey or something like that, just laughing at him, just being like, "This is ridiculous. This comparison is going on." It's going to be unique to see, because you definitely can tell that the Lakers have upgraded all around this squad that just won the championship. So it's going to the Lakers have made themselves clear front runners in the Western Conference. Well, let's take another turn here, because we know the Houston Rockets, they're an absolute.
Wait, I'm sorry, Blake. Can I add one thing? Go
ahead.
I just want to say, I think Doc Rivers has to be one of the most overrated coaches of all time.
Really? You're a Boston guy. You got your Celtics on right now.
Yes,
I'm with that.
With all that talent in Boston, he won one championship. He goes to LA with Lob City, and they can't make it out of the second round. He goes through a rebuild, then builds a super team, and then he blows a 3-1 lead with that. What more talent can you give this guy?
Well, I mean, you got to remember, though, in that Game 7, fourth quarter, they couldn't even hit the brick side of a barn if they were trying to.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have been there. I don't think they should have even been in that.
Paul George was hitting the other side of the backboard. That's how bad a couple of those shots were. Come on.
I'm excited to see that.
Coaching is everything, but sometimes the players got to take over a game, and Paul George and Kawhi, especially in that Game 7, decided not to show up. And you're blowing a double-digit lead.
I just want to see a full season though, Doc.
Well, what do you all right, so what do you expect from the Sixers then? Do you expect anything out of them with Doc there?
I think they're a better suited team for Doc Rivers, because he's more of a defensive, he focuses more on defense. And with a big physical team like that, I think it plays more into his hands than a team like the Clippers does. But at the same time, I don't consider the Sixers as front runners in the East. I don't see them getting out of the East.
Justin,
I do think the Sixers are a better fit for him, because they're an old school team. Like, they grind in the paint, they beat you down defensively, beat you with points in the paint. But I still don't think, without adding a significant piece, can they get past Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Boston. Like, I think the talent gap, even Miami too, the talent gap is just too big without adding a guy like potentially James Harden.
That's true. Speaking of James Harden, he's had his fair share of interesting in the past couple of weeks, to say the least. Came into camp way out of shape.
He was fat.
Way out of shape, partying. This is the greatest line. Kendrick Perkins was on. I was listening the other day. He was like, "You can't be coming in looking like me into a training camp as a guard." It was probably one of the greatest lines I've heard. But still, he's coming out. He had yesterday, huge altercation with one of the rookies that came into camp, that apparently, and then he's had his press conferences, everything that's related to the Rockets. Next question. He doesn't want anything to do with it. He's been demanding a trade for several weeks now. Is Harden going to get out? I don't think he has the leverage personally. And if the Rockets, John Wall's now there, Boogie Cousins, I think they have a little bit of potential.
Honestly, Christian Wood, like, they have a team now that Harden can join and be a contender. It's not like the Rockets are a bad fit for him right now. I didn't like how they were trying all that small ball, but they quickly got rid of that. And now they have built a lineup where James Harden will be able to succeed. The team will be able to succeed. I don't know why he wants out, but at the same time, the Rockets could get a lot of return for him. And if they want to rebuild and start fresh, now is the time to do it. And I could see a team like Milwaukee making a play on him. Definitely, definitely, I could see Philly. We're hearing a lot of Brooklyn. But honestly, like I would not be surprised to see a dark horse team like Miami come in there and make a play on Harden. But yeah,
I like that.
I don't see him being on the Rockets by the trade deadline.
Okay.
I do see him being on the team for a little bit during the start of the season, but I just don't see any situation where James Harden is on the Rockets by the trade deadline.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Harden because I don't know what leverage he has because he
Zero.
has, I think, 3 years left on his contract. It's not like he's expiring and he can just walk at the end of the season. I don't think a trade is going to happen unless it includes Kyrie Irving or Ben Simmons. And both of those teams have said both of them are off the table in a Harden trade. And I don't think any team is going to come to Houston with the amount that they think they deserve for Harden, which should probably be a couple first round picks, a superstar, and some young talent as well. And I don't know what team can fill that price tag and then still try to contend when Harden's on the team. Is there just going to be an unhappy Harden putting up 40-point triple doubles next to John Wall all season? I don't know.
Yeah, and there was a quote last week from a member of the Houston team, Houston staff. He decided to be named anonymous, but they're content with him going out and partying and then coming back having like a 45-point triple double.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that too.
He's breaking all the COVID protocols and he's still going to be able to go out and play. It makes absolutely no sense to me. But still, I don't think no one from the Western Conference is going to get him. I think he wants to go to the Eastern Conference because he's got a better chance to make the finals. He knows that.
He's been talented now.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to think Steve Nash is not going to put up with that in Brooklyn.
No way.
I know him and KD have that relationship from OKC, but he just tried that with Russ and it didn't work. So
yeah,
I think him and Kyrie would rip each other's heads off too.
Well, even if all right, let's just do hypothetical here. If he goes to Brooklyn and Kyrie and KD are both on that team, it's gonna be dribble, 10 seconds, pass, dribble, 10 seconds.
I don't think that works. I don't think that works.
That would be one of the most ugly
disasters of iso ball.
Teams to watch.
I think it would be a dangerous team if they traded Kyrie for Harden, and you put Harden in that offense at point guard.
I don't know. You're gonna have to give up LeVert, Joe Harris, Allen. You're gonna have to
that'd
give
be
up
too
everybody.
much. Yeah, too much.
And then Philadelphia, they got to give up Embiid or Simmons or the.
There's no way they would have there's no way they would take Tobias Harris.
Nobody wants Tobias Harris. He was the biggest, worst signing that I've ever seen come out of Philadelphia right now.
How do you give
He's
that guy
the highest paid player this year? Something ridiculous like that.
He was the highest paid player in the East last year, tied for the highest paid player in the East.
Makes absolutely
in my opinion, the worst contract in NBA history.
Yeah.
That's very true. I agree with you guys, though. I think Houston's going to have to keep him, and they're going to have to sell him for less than they want because that's how it's going to work. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. So let's transition to another team, the Bucks. Giannis, he signed the Supermax. It reminds me a lot of Damian Lillard in Portland. He's perfectly content staying in the small market and being the guy there. He's not trying to chase. He's trying to chase championships, but he wants to do it for a city that doesn't have that aura around them or that high-end repertoire like a Miami, a LA, a Philadelphia, a New York, etc. So what do you guys think about the Bucks? I feel like low-key the Bogdanovich slip-up when they tried to get the sign and trade for the Kings.
Well, that was bad, dude.
Yeah, I think it's going to hurt them more than people realize because now he's going to –
I think it is.
He was going to be a piece.
They're just not – they're definitely very talented. I think Drew Holiday is a big upgrade at point guard. He's one of the better defensive point guards in the NBA. He's an all-star. I mean, he's a good piece to have. I think they're going to have a very good regular season, like they always do. They're going to push to the for the 1 seed. I could see this team looking a lot like the 2014 Pacers, the team with Roy Hibbert, Paul George, David West, the team that went all out for that 1 seed and then kind of tanked in the playoffs. Because here's why: I just don't think they're deep enough for a playoff run if they want to go that hard in the regular season. I mean, yes, they did add Bobby Portis, DJ Augustine, but like, how much is that really gonna do? Dante DiVincenzo is gonna be better, but like, he's not a difference maker. I mean, I do see them being a very good team, but with teams in the East like Brooklyn, Miami, Boston, Philly, it's gonna be really hard for them to make it out. So that Bogdanovich slip up, man, that was bad. Like they could have really used him. Had they picked him up, I would be saying different things about the Bucks because I think he fits in really well with what they do. But yeah, I could totally see them being a really good regular season team that might fizzle out in the playoffs with the rest of the talent that we have in the East this year.
Yeah, I think Bucks definitely got better than they were last year. Drew Holiday, great upgrade from Eric Bledsoe, like you said, Andrew. And I think Giannis is comfortable now. There's no distractions. No one's worrying about him leaving. He's locked up. Middleton's locked up. They're on the same timeline. So I think they're going to have a phenomenal regular season, and they're going to do what they did last year. They're going to run through it. They're going to get the 1 seed. But they still didn't address their biggest flaw, in my opinion, and that's closing out a game. Because unless Giannis shows me otherwise, I don't trust him to go isolation and hit a jump shot at the end of the game to close it out. And I don't trust Middleton either because I don't think he's that good of an all-star. I think he's great. I think he's an all-star.
He's
but I
another
think
two-piece,
he
but
benefits from sitting wide open in the corner from Giannis. And I think in the playoffs against teams that have closers like KD, Tatum, Jimmy Butler, there's just too many out there for in a 7-game series. You can prepare for a team that's just drive and kick every single time, and the Bucks are going to come up short again.
Well, I think it was great for Giannis to sign in Milwaukee, but he didn't address his one issue that he's got, which is his jump shooting. Who cares? Who cares about signing the Supermax when you can't shoot a 17-footer consistently? So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. We all know that Giannis is a one-trick pony, and then as soon as the playoffs get down and they start to guard the paint, he doesn't have the consistency outside. Chris Middleton, in my opinion, is a number 3 option, and I don't see Drew Holiday as a number 2 either. They're both probably more of a number 3. So it's interesting. Drew Holiday, they're going to be elite defensively. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday is easily, and many people say that he is the best by the NBA players. They say he's the best on-ball defender in the league. Yeah. And when the NBA players are saying that, you know that they know he's legit. So they're going to be legit defensively. I just don't know what you're going to get in the playoffs, because in those games you're going to have to be able to score. You're going to have to score in the crunch time, as you guys have already mentioned. It'll be very interesting to see. Bogdanovich, he may not have been a closer, but he could at least be that number 2 option. He's not afraid of the moment because he's been playing in Sacramento. He has to take those shots. So
shots.
So I think that would have helped them in a lot of ways. And now Atlanta's got him, and I think Atlanta's honestly been the most improved team based off of.
I love Atlanta.
Atlanta's going to make the playoffs, in my opinion.
That was my bold prediction earlier in the year too. Yeah. I got Atlanta surprising to people.
I love them.
Does Indy fall out? Are they the odd one out this year?
I can totally see that, man.
Who? The Pacers?
Indy.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. I just don't know what you're going to get from them on a consistent basis. They don't have a dude on that team.
Yeah, because I think Washington definitely makes it now too. I just think Westbrook and Beal in the East.
What did you think of that John Wall, Russell Westbrook trade? Was it the right move? I think it wasn't the correct decision. I think you can keep John Wall.
Yeah, I like John Wall better than I like Russell Westbrook.
The trade benefits the Rockets, in my opinion.
I think it benefits the Rockets, but I still think Westbrook is talented enough in the East where he's going to get him to the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it helps that it's Scott Brooks, his former coach.
Yeah, definitely.
He can reel him in a little bit, even though Russell likes to do it his way. He can reel him in through the past experiences and stuff. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. But either way, I don't think they were getting out of the first round.
Yeah. All right. So let's go crazy as we're talking playoffs already. Give me a crazy early bold prediction for your finals picks. Give me a way too early. It probably will not happen, but give me your way too early picks.
My way too early finals pick. Honestly, people could disagree with me on this one, but I like the Clippers out of the West. I really do like the Clippers. I think they improved, and I think they have a big chip on their shoulder. And the last time Kawhi had a chip on his shoulder, that was in Toronto. We saw what happened there. He refused to lose, man. And I think with that team, I still think they are the best defensive team in the NBA. And adding Ibaka just made them that much better. Locking up Reggie Jackson too, that's huge. So I like them as they're definitely the best team in the West to match up defensively with the Lakers now. Throw Kawhi on LeBron. Ibaka can hold his own on Davis. I mean, Davis is, in my opinion, the best player in the NBA. He's incredible. But Ibaka is one of the better options in the Western Conference to guard him. So with that being said, I like the Clippers to come out of the West. In the East, as much as I really want my Celtics to come out, I'm loving Brooklyn's talent. I mean, you have Kyrie and Kevin Durant, and this all hinges on if Kyrie doesn't have a mental breakdown at some point during the season, because that is totally possible. But with that talent, with that offensive talent, and I do feel like they're willing to work together, you pair around them the championship pieces. I mean, you have a good defensive backcourt when you put in LeVert and Dinwiddie. Those are two defensive pieces in the backcourt. You have a sharpshooter in Joe Harris. You have elite. I think Jared. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say elite. I think Jared Allen's a very good big man. He's a very good defensive presence who will go and get rebounds. Don't ask much of him on the offensive end, but he'll fit in there very nicely. You have DeAndre Jordan just to come right in there and do the same thing off the bench. So I love their depth. Not to mention the Landry Shamet signing when I was talking about shooters. I mean, you got him. He's a sniper. So, yeah, I'm loving the Nets just because of their sheer talent, depth. I mean, they cover all the bases. They can play D. They can score. They can shoot. They can grab boards. They can protect the rim. I mean, they can do it all. So I'm liking the Nets to go to the finals. But I do see the Clippers taking down the Nets in the finals because I don't see Kevin Durant facing a test like Kawhi Leonard until then. I think it's going to be a big wake-up call. And I just think the Clippers have a good enough defensive backcourt to kind of harass Kyrie. I mean, I could totally see Patrick Beverley getting in his head and throwing his game off. And yeah, if you want to give me if you want me to give a pick, I'll take Clippers in 7.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go way more far-fetched than that. From the West, I'm going to bank on a huge step from Luka Doncic, and he's going to win MVP, and the Mavericks are going to the finals with a healthy Porzingis, a MVP Luka Doncic. They added a defender and shooter to sit right next to him, Josh Richardson. Luka's going to play full-time point guard now. They know what they're doing with him. I love the Mavericks to go to the finals. And they're going to play another young team that I'm banking on to take a massive step, the Celtics. No Gordon Hayward, Tatum and Brown. Tatum's going to average 30. Brown's going to average 25. There's going to be way more shots for them. Kemba Walker, they're resting him at the beginning of the season to have him healthy in the playoffs. He wasn't healthy last postseason, and it showed. If he was anywhere close to healthy, they walked to the finals against Miami. They don't blow 2 20-point leads in the first 2 games. It's a completely different story. They addressed their needs in the offseason. They got Tristan Thompson to help out Dan Tice against the big guys in the East. They grabbed a veteran point guard off the bench, Jeff Teague. He's going to be a massive upgrade over Wanamaker. He can hit threes. Peyton Pritchard, another guy they drafted, he can hit threes. He doesn't turn the ball over. They drafted the best shooter in the draft, Aaron Nesmith. We've been missing a spot-up guy literally since Ray Allen, and now they have him. I think finally we have a real team around Tatum and Brown and not just a bunch of 6'8" people who can do a little bit of everything. We have specialists, we have rebounders, we have shooters, passers. I think the Celtics are going to play the Mavs in the finals, and I'm a Celtics fan, so Celtics in 6.
Wow, this is wild because I have two completely different teams than you guys. So we're gonna have
Let's
six
go.
different
Let's
teams here.
go.
This is wild. So, all right, because we started in the West, we'll go with the West. Give me the Denver Nuggets.
Ooh.
I
Yeah.
am sold. They showed me that winning mentality coming back, that never die mentality coming back from 3-1 down twice against
They
Utah.
didn't even have Will Barton either, too. They got him coming back.
Absolutely. Jamal Murray is an absolute dog at the end of games, and I think he's finally showed up that he can beat. He's going to be a decent player in the regular season, but he's going to be the go-to guy in the postseason. He brings it up to a completely different level when he needs to. Nikola Jokic, best center in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So, not even close. I think it's not even close there. I think he's going to be able to be a completely different matchup problem. Supposedly he's lost a little bit more weight, so he's going to be a little bit more leaner. So I think he's going to be a diabolical force down low now. And I am in love with Michael Porter Jr. I'm telling you, he's going to have the biggest jump going into this season after what he did in the bubble. He's going to be averaging at least 17 or 18 a game. He's gonna finally figure out how to defend a little bit. I know if foul trouble is his biggest critique. If he can just stay out of foul trouble, he's gonna be right there. So I love the Denver Nuggets. They've got all the depth in the world too, because you're gonna see. I think you're gonna see the big five lineup. I'm telling you, you're gonna see a huge ball. You're gonna see it like they showed off in the bubble. 5 bigs. I'm all for that too. You're going to have Jokic bringing the ball up, Bol on the outside, Michael Porter Jr. It's going to be nuts. No one's going to be under 6'10" on the court. It's going to be great.
I love that, man. I love that.
Give it to me.
Who cares about micro ball when you have that?
Exactly. What are the Rockets going to say about that now?
Yeah, exactly. So I love Denver. I think they're going to surprise some people. I think they're actually going to be the 1 seed in the West, being completely honest, because they're a team, once you get into the Mile High, it's brutal to get up to that altitude and play some games. So I think that's going to be a huge advantage for them to get the 1 seed. And then out of the East, I'm riding with the Miami Heat, yo.
Back to back.
I think they're going back to back. Jimmy Butler is an absolute dog. He is what the Miami Heat envision a player to be. If you were trying to pick out a perfect Miami Heat player, it's Jimmy Butler.
Yep.
He's got the grit. He has that Pat Riley toughness that he used to be as a coach and now as the GM. Eric Spoelstra's still there. He can easily win you games just by calling plays alone. And that's a difference maker when you have a pedigree coach like Eric Spoelstra. Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson. You got absolute snipers all over the floor. I know Goran Dragic is coming off of the injury. I think he's going to be fully healthy, though. And he's an absolute – and that death lineup that they had in the bubble was ridiculous. And if Dragic doesn't get hurt as well as Bam, that series goes 7 instead of ending in 6. And I think that could have been anybody's game in Game 7.
Oh yeah.
I think that's
I wouldn't have been surprised if Miami won it.
I know they didn't make any major changes, but why break something when it's not broken? And that's the Pat Riley mentality. So give me the Miami Heat. I think people are gonna sleep on them again this year, as they were slept on last year, and they can guard 1 through 5. All 5 of those guys can guard every position. So give me Miami and the Denver Nuggets. If I'm making a pick, I'm taking Denver in 6.
Yeah, I like that. Bam's too small for Jokic.
Yeah, I love it, right? I think Murray and Jokic are going to win a championship. They will at some point. They're going to win at least one together. So get it done early.
Yeah, get it over with.
So what we got Brooklyn. Andrew? What'd you have again? Brooklyn and the Clippers.
I have Clippers over Brooklyn.
In 7.
In 7.
Yep. You have
Mavs in 6.
Celtics over Mavs in 6, and I've got Nuggets over the Heat in 6. So there's 3 different possibilities here. Those are way too early. So that means it's going to be the Lakers and probably the Sixers in the finals. If you're
Lakers, Sixers, Lakers, Bucks. None of us are going to be right.
Yeah, Bucks, Lakers, or Sixers, Lakers in the finals. So we'll all be wrong. It's fine. Yeah. So So
We
let's
had fun.
transition now to the college football playoff that was just announced on Sunday. Here's your top four. You had Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. Texas A&M was the fifth team out. It was usually the debate was down to Notre Dame and Texas A&M after Notre Dame got absolutely smacked this past Saturday by the Clemson Tigers, losing by 24. It's going to be Alabama versus Notre Dame. That line is already opened at 20.5
It's
for
insane.
Alabama.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think they might win
Clemson,
by 40.
yeah, Clemson's already opened up as over a touchdown favorite over Ohio State. Guys, what was your initial reaction? I'm a diehard Notre Dame fan, and I didn't think we deserved to be on the playoff. That's how bad we played on Saturday. I would have put A&M in, even though Texas A&M lost by 28 to Alabama already this year.
I mean, I just have a problem with Ohio State, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't think it's fair to Texas A&M if Ohio State only played 6 games. I mean, like there could have been so many more opportunities for them to lose. Like I don't know. It just that they are the better team, but it just doesn't really sit right with me having Ohio State in there. But with that being said, I do think Clemson will take care of them, and I see it's going to be a Clemson Alabama championship. It's gonna be a great game.
Yeah, I don't think Notre Dame is going to even look like they're in the same league as Alabama.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
But it just the playoff committee got in a weird spot where it's a one-loss team and their only loss is to Clemson. So you kind of have to put them in there. But Alabama's just going to run circles around them, I think. It's going to look like the national championship did back when Eddie Lacy was running all over Manti Te'o. I think it's going to look very similar to that one. And yeah, I think we know what our national championship is already, because I don't think Ohio State is nearly as good as Clemson. Lawrence gonna shred. And yeah, I think my initial reactions is just it's an immediate national championship. You don't even have to play the first 2 games. Would have liked to see them do something cool, like put A&M in there, just see what happens, make it a different team. Like it's these 4 teams every year pretty much, but Alabama, Clemson national championship, and that'll be a great game.
Yeah, they pretty much just put in the 4 blue bloods, the 4 teams that TV needed in the playoff, right? It really, seriously though, Texas A&M's not doesn't have the pedigree that Notre Dame, Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State have.
Right.
It became a pedigree. Hey, do you want good television? You put those 4 teams in.
Yeah.
Even though that's how it turned out. I want to get your take though. I felt like with 2020, with all the situations with COVID, teams were going to not play the same amount of games. That was going to be inevitable. Should this committee had gone to 8 this year, just as the trial should have been the 8-game trial? This should be the 8 playoff trial this year, right?
I think they should have done 8, or I think they should have done 6 teams with the first 2 seeds getting a bye. I think they should have tried that. But 4, I've been saying since the beginning, 4 teams it's just too little. 8 teams might be too many. I love 6. I love the 6-team playoff with the top 2 seeds getting a bye. I think that really helps you narrow down the best teams.
Yeah, I would have loved to see 8 this year. Like if any year, this is the year to do it, because you don't have to set anything in stone for the future. And this is a weird year. There was guaranteed to have some parity happen if you put in 8 teams. One of the top 4 would have fallen. We would have seen a lower team advance to the next round. I think they missed a big opportunity to get some more teams in this national championship hunt.
Absolutely, and I feel like they would have silenced the debate of out of the group of 5. You would have had Cincinnati would have gotten in. You wouldn't have heard all the hate that's getting done by the AAC. Being said, hey, we're undefeated. We got a championship if we beat, because now Cincinnati will go in, they'll beat Georgia, and they'll claim the national championship again, just like how UCF did it.
Exactly.
Because they're not getting the amount of respect that they deserve. I think Cincinnati's a lot better than people think.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see. I mean, I agree. I think I'm just, as a Notre Dame fan, I'm hoping just keep it competitive for a half. You couldn't even do that in the first 2 times that we've had a chance to play for a championship. So, but I agree. You might see 2 blowouts here on January 1st. But all right, so now we're going to transition after talking some college football. We're going to give NFL here, a little NFL taste. Your Patriots have officially been eliminated from the playoffs.
yeah.
You guys are Boston guys. This is the first year without Tom Brady, and you don't make the playoffs. There comes the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick debate. Andrew, I know you had a little bit of a rant to go on about your Patriots, so take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a big Brady guy, and I think this year definitely proved that losing Brady was like we had to do everything in our power to keep him because Cam Newton, he was horrible all season long. Did he throw more than 10 touchdown passes?
No, I think he finished with 5.
I mean, there's still two games left, but he's not going to finish with more than 10 touchdown passes. He has no pocket presence, no awareness. Their defense is the only reason that they have some wins. They just have a great defense. That's what Bill does. He gets those guys to play. But I mean, I'm just pissed off, man. And even though we lost Brady, we had chances to sign other quarterbacks in the offseason. I would have way rather had like a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, who was a free agent and got scooped up by the Panthers. I think he would have worked out way better in this offense. I just think Cam Newton was not the answer, and we tried to force him to be the answer because Bill Belichick was too stubborn, and it just didn't work. And it's clearly showing. Brady went down to Tampa Bay. And he's going to take Tampa Bay to the playoffs for the first time in who knows how long. So I'm a big Tom Brady guy, and man, it just showed this year that they needed him.
Yeah, I've always been on if I ever had to pick a side, I would pick Brady's side. And this year, like I saw this coming. Last year we had a terrible team. Like besides Brady, the team was awful.
Yep.
The receivers led the league in drops. They were last in the league in separation on every single route. And this year, and we still got 12 wins because Brady just figures out how to win with offenses like that. And you take him out and you put in a quarterback that before coming to the Patriots had lost his last 11 games. Like, this is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Belichick is a bad coach by any means. I think he's the greatest coach ever. But this is just a horrendous football team. We had no cap room to do anything. Like, we couldn't pay a quarterback anything. That's why we had to give Cam Newton less than $1 million. I'm curious to see next year. This season, we set ourselves up to have the most cap room in the league. I want to see what happens if we sign or draft a real quarterback, some real weapons. Like Jacoby Myers and Damiere Byrd are not 1 and 2 receivers. I don't know where N'Keal Harry's been. He's been on the damn milk carton. It blows my mind that we drafted him over DK Metcalf and any Deebo Samuel, any of the receivers taken below him. But it sucks. It's disappointing, but I saw this coming, and I think it's time to actually get the quarterback of the future and stop trying to scrap for whatever it is we're scrapping for.
All right, here's a hypothetical. You two are the GMs of the New England Patriots going into the offseason. Who are you bringing in, or who are you drafting immediately?
I mean, 2 quarterbacks I really like. I mean, I could totally see us bringing in Matt Ryan. Maybe he's a Boston College quarterback. His time in Atlanta seems to be coming to an end. Maybe we can do something to kind of jumpstart his career back again. Another guy I could totally see who has been a bridge quarterback most of his career is Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm a big fan of Fitzpatrick. I could totally see us drafting a quarterback and sitting him on the bench behind Fitzpatrick for a little bit, kind of like how the Dolphins did with Tua. But yeah, maybe we could make a play on Mac Jones and get Fitzpatrick and have Fitzpatrick play half the season and Mac Jones comes in. Maybe that'll be the ideal situation. But we have to move on from Cam Newton. There's no way. If I'm the Pats GM, he is nowhere in our future.
I think I like any of those options. I'm a big fan of the Matt Ryan option because Atlanta's stale. They need to figure something out and start fresh. I wouldn't mind seeing the Pats make a play to move up and get Justin Fields. I think Trevor Lawrence is obviously locked into the Jags at number 1, but I think Justin Fields, I think we can position ourselves with our first round pick, maybe Stephon Gilmore, move into the top 5, take Justin Fields with our cap room, get some weapons around him. Allen Robinson, Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz isn't going to have nearly as big of a price tag as he used to. Too much this year. he's going to buy low on him. I feel like get your next tight end. We haven't had a tight end that has done anything since Gronk, and it's looked really bad. And it's part of the reason why we haven't been a great football team the past couple of years, because we have 0 tight end production, and that was the most important position we had for the past 10 years. So I think hopefully Justin Fields, maybe Mac Jones in the draft, and then Allen Robinson, Zach Ertz on the offensive side of the ball, finally spend some money offensively and hopefully get back to the playoffs.
All right, I'm going to throw you guys a curveball. I want to get your reaction here. You guys are going to go get Matthew Stafford to play quarterback. Yeah. Detroit's him and Detroit are done. You can see it. He's had enough of losing. Matt Patricia has ruined that team that was in the playoffs 2 out of the 4 years under Jim Caldwell. And then you're going to draft Kyle Pitts, the tight end out of Florida.
Ooh, I like that.
Those are the first 2 moves. I'll call Bill right now. Bill, what's what we're doing, all right?
I wouldn't mind that at all.
I would love that.
That would be a great. I would love to have Matt Stafford, a pass-first quarterback on the Patriots. I'd love that.
Yeah, Stafford would be awesome in New England. I think the fans would eat him up. They would love him, and he'd immediately become a fan favorite. He'd be slinging the ball. I think he'd figure out how to use N'Keal Harry, because Matt Stafford, who better to just sling it up to big receivers? That's what he's been doing his whole career. And yeah, wow, I really like that move.
Yeah, so I think you got to get outside the box sometimes, gentlemen. You got to get creative, you know?
Yeah. I would not mind Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, so as we mentioned, the Patriots are eliminated. So we all know the favorites in the NFL right now. It's Kansas City, Buffalo, Green Bay, and the Saints. You two, give me a dark horse team that is going to surprise some people and maybe make a run to be in the conference championship or potentially a Super Bowl.
I think the Titans. That's definitely one of my dark horse teams. Derrick Henry, he's a running back who could take over a game. And in the playoffs, when it gets cold, you don't want to tackle that guy. He's going to be running right through people. And if you get the ground game working in the playoffs and you open up the passing game, the Titans already have one of the better play action offenses in the NFL. And with Derrick Henry, that play action is incredible. Just to fake it to him, throw to A.J. Brown. We saw what they did in the playoffs last year. Mike Vrabel's an incredible coach, and I could totally see them being a dark horse team. My other dark horse team is actually the LA Rams. I know they had a horrific loss to the Jets. I know, but
they helped them lose Trevor Lawrence though, so the Rams did everybody a favor.
I know they're keeping Trevor Lawrence out of the AFC East, so I'm fine with that. But honestly, they have a really good defense. They can get pressure with 4 guys and allow their secondary to make plays. They have a great offense. I love Cooper Kupp. I love Robert Woods. They have 2 solid tight ends in Everett and Higbee. And that running game, they have 3 solid running backs. And to top it all off, I'm a big Sean McVay fan. I think he's able to figure things out. And I think in a playoff run, the NFC is fairly wide open this year. I mean, I think the Saints are beatable. I think the Packers are beatable. So if I had to go with a dark horse team, like a true dark horse, it could be the Rams. And I don't want to discount the Patriots. I'm sorry, the Bucks. I do that a lot. But please don't count out Tom Brady.
Tom Brady fever. You're okay.
Please don't count out Tom Brady in the playoffs with those offensive weapons. Like I would. A lot of people would be surprised if he won the Super Bowl. I would not be shocked at all.
Yeah, you took my NFC dark horse. Well, with that, mine was going to be Tampa, but for the same reasons, in a wide open NFC with, in my opinion, only 2 teams that can realistically get pressure with 4 on Tom Brady, that being the Rams and the Saints. He's not playing either of them in the first round if things hold like they are, and I just think, like, they're scheduled to play Seattle in the first round. If things hold up, I don't think Seattle's defense can even come close. I think Brady would tear them apart. I think they'd kill Green Bay again. Like, Green Bay they showed no chance. Their defense isn't good enough yet to compete with Brady and those boys. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a great playoff quarterback. He gets killed every time he loses. And in a wide open NFC, like it's still Tom Brady. And I know like he's had some struggles this year, but I mean, he still has over 30 touchdown passes. He has the best weapons he's ever had. And in a wide open NFC with no clear favorite, especially with the favorite to beat them being the Saints, having already beat them twice, I don't see Brady losing 3 times to the same team in one season. I don't know. I just don't see it. I would not be surprised if Brady and the Bucs went to the Super Bowl out of the NFC because I just can't count him out yet until he stops playing. Like that, I'm going to pick him to go to the Super Bowl every year until he retires. And then in the AFC, my dark horse is Cleveland.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
Cleveland has a chance at winning the division because Pittsburgh plays Indy. They could lose that game, and Cleveland plays the Jets. Cleveland wins, Pittsburgh loses. Even if Pittsburgh wins, week 17 is for the division. And regardless of whether Cleveland wins the division or not, if they do, it'll just get them a higher seed. They can run the ball. They have the best running back duo in the NFL. Chubb's a top 5 running back. Hunt's top 15, maybe top 10. And without Odell, they just seem very, very comfortable. They know who they are. Baker's not forcing the ball. They're setting up the play action really well to guys like Peoples-Jones, Rashad Higgins. Jarvis Landry's finally getting going, getting consistent, looking like he did in Miami. And just a team that can run the ball, that limits turnovers. They're dangerous in the playoffs, and they can beat anyone. And I think the Browns, it's weird to say, but the Browns are a really dangerous playoff team.
I like all those picks so far, but I'm going to go for the AFC. I'm going to take the other team that runs the ball considerably and doesn't turn the ball over, which is the Indianapolis Colts.
I love that pick, man.
Because we all know what the issue is with the Indianapolis Colts. It'll be turnovers from Phillip Rivers. If you limit Phillip Rivers' turnovers, they're going to have a chance to beat anybody because their defense is legit with DeForest Buckner up front. You got some solid linebackers with Darius Leonard, and then you also have an absolute stud at running back in Jonathan Taylor. And he won't win Rookie of the Year because they don't give it to a running back, but he's got to be right there in the conversation to be Rookie of the Year.
He's good.
Monster.
He's been an absolute stud since the injury that happened to their starting running back before him as he was the backup. Out of the NFC, I'm gonna go out of left field because I agree with the Bucs. I've been all on the Bucs this year. I think they could easily win the Super Bowl. But I'm going to take a team that we haven't talked about yet, and it's going to be the team is just in right now. It's the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh.
And I don't see them as like a team that's going to make it to the Super Bowl. I would not be surprised if they're in the NFC Championship, though, because of how lethal their offense really is.
Yeah,
and if Kyler Murray makes sure that Cliff Kingsbury doesn't make any dumb decisions as a head coach, Kyler Murray just says, give me the ball. That's it. I'll throw it to D-Hop every time. We'll be fine. And Larry Fitzgerald still making circus catches like he showed off on Sunday. That offense is legit enough to score with anybody. I know their defense is extremely suspect, but Patrick Peterson can still lock up half of the field. So he's still that good of a corner, especially in an NFC that's wide open. I do like potentially the Arizona Cardinals there. And I think people are really – I know I mentioned the Colts, but the Baltimore Ravens are going to get in because of how easy their schedule is.
Yeah, they're a scary playoff team.
And if they just let Lamar Jackson be Lamar Jackson, you don't make him a quarterback, you just let him be an athlete, he will be the best player on the field every time he touches every time, unless he's going against Patrick Mahomes, but still. So I love those 3 teams. I love Baltimore. Indianapolis has been my sleeper pick all year because I think they finally have figured it out. Frank Wright's been an absolute stud. And I think the Cardinals have actually showcased a lot more ability. I thought they were 1 year away, to be honest. But that offense is legit right now. So I like those. So now we're going to transition to our final segment of the day. It's called Lock It In. You guys already know it's usually my Friday segment, but because of Christmas, I will not be putting out a podcast. So it's going to be a really early spreads that we're going to be going. They're probably going to be completely changed by Sunday or Saturday. So you got to remember there's going to be games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the NFL. And because college football is pretty much wrapped up, we're going to give you a little bit of a Christmas Day special. We're going to do we're going to do some NBA Christmas games for Lock It In. So we're going to start off with the NBA. And how this is going to work, I'm going to start, and then it's going to go to Justin, then to Andrew, and then we'll go back around. Just do a little rotation here, all right? So for my first lock for our NBA Christmas holiday special, I've got the Brooklyn Nets -1 versus the Boston Celtics. I know you guys are Boston homers. I'm going way against the grain here. It is in Boston. Kevin Durant, I'm telling you, Brooklyn's going to be legit. Kyrie's returning to Boston. He's going to want to show out. And I think that's going to be an interesting take there to see Brooklyn and Kevin Durant. And there's going to be no James Harden. I know that for a fact. So they're going to have all the depth still on their squad. So give me Brooklyn -1. All right, Justin, you're up. What happened? Well, it seems like I've lost Justin and Andrew at the moment here. Let me try to get them back. We're going to pause real quick, and we'll be coming back real shortly. Well, we got Justin and Andrew back. They're back. They had a little technical difficulties on their end. Justin, it's your turn to give your Lock It In pick. Take it away.
All right, here we go. My first lock of the NBA Christmas Day. I am loving Miami -5 against the Pelicans. Defending Eastern Conference champions. They're an established team. They're good. Jimmy, Bam, they're tough. And Pelicans, I think, are going to be really good this year. They're young. They're fun. They're going to surprise some people. They're high flying, but they're not the Heat. They're not in the same conversation yet. They're not finals contenders. And I think 5 points is not enough points to give this Miami team. Even if it's a close game, it'll come down to free throws at the end. Miami will inch away, win by more than 5. Loving Miami -5.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on that too. I love Miami -5 as well. Basically for everything Justin said, they're so deep. At the end of the day, New Orleans is no Miami. And then I love the Clippers. I'm locking them against the Nuggets. I think that, yeah, like you said, Blaine, they're very mad about what happened last year. And I think they got better. And I think tonight, Christmas will be their night to show out.
Yeah, I love the Clippers as well. That spread's even at the moment. Give me the Clippers. Blowing that 3-1 lead. It's going to be a little bit of a revenge game. Just like how kind of like tonight's going to be a little bit of a revenge game for the Clippers. They're going to be a lot of revenge games to start the year for the Clippers. So I think the Clippers will show out. So what do you got, Justin?
My second lock is Warriors +8 against Milwaukee. I know Milwaukee is going to come out. They're going to be tough. They're going to be really good. They're going to be a dominant team. But Steph is back. And when Steph is healthy, Warriors are a really good team. I know there's no Clay, but I expect a very big bounce back season from Draymond with a full season of Steph. I love James Wiseman and the fit he is there. I think they're a deep team too. All the guys that were starting and getting big minutes last year are just coming off the bench now. Eric Pascal, Damian Lee, they're a good team. They can shoot. Steph is back. I think 8 points is too many points, and they're going to make this a close game. It's Christmas Day. Steph, Giannis, it has to be.
What you got, Andrew?
Third pick?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, my third pick. I got to go, honestly, I like the Dallas -6 against the Lakers. Like Justin said, they're his pick to come out of the West, and they're not mine, but it's a possibility. And that team matching up with the Lakers, I think they can do it. I don't know if they're going to win the game, but they'll be able to keep it close.
Yeah,
I don't see a team with Luka Doncic rolling at point guard losing by more than 6 points.
That was my final lock as well. Give me Porzingis and Luka on Christmas. I know LeBron will have like a 45-point triple-double, but it's all about containing AD. So if you contain AD, you can beat the Lakers. So I think they'll be able to do that relatively. That's my third and final lock.
Yeah, I think I'm going to grab that as my third and final lock too. If Mavs are a really good team, they're my finals pick for the West. And
all right, there you go. So everybody's heavy on the Mavericks, so the Lakers will win by 20. All right.
Yeah.
Well, so those are our
Absolutely.
3 Christmas Day picks. So let's transition to the NFL now, gentlemen. So same rotation. It'll be me, then Justin, then Andrew. My first NFL lock. Give me the Cardinals minus 3.5 for San Francisco. They're going to be
I
playing
love
on
it.
Saturday. They're my dark horse. Ride with Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. The Niners just lost to the Cowboys, and the Cowboys have been absolutely atrocious this year. So give me the Cardinals 3.5.
I like that one, and I'm gonna grab Baltimore minus 11 against the Giants. I think Baltimore is just cruising to the playoffs at this point. Daniel Jones might not play. We might see some more Colt McCoy. Giants are just gonna keep falling out of this division race, keep giving it to Washington. And Baltimore is a team that they really beat down on teams worse than them. This Giants team, I don't think they're not going to do anything to figure out this Lamar Jackson rushing attack. It's going to get really ugly. 11 points. They're totally going to win by more than 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, Blaine. I'm loving the Cardinals in this one. Niners don't have anything to play for, really. The Cardinals do. I love their offense. They're super dynamic, and I just don't trust Nick Mullins.
Yeah, absolutely. San Francisco's been a mess. And speaking of, if Baltimore is going to blow out the Giants, then my lock's going to be perfect because I got Washington minus 2.5 versus the Panthers, which will give Washington the division. And
Wow.
and they'll end up probably finishing 7-9 because then once they clinch on Sunday, they won't have to play anybody the next week, and they'll be 7-9. But give me Washington. That front four even. They got 6 guys on that front four that are first round players that could absolutely dominate a game. Chase Young was just named to the Pro Bowl. I mean, Washington, that defense is legit. That offense is very suspect, but that defense will probably even get a defensive touchdown. So give me Washington 2.5.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with defense in my second lock too. I'm picking Chicago minus 7.5 against the Jags. Bears have looked really good the past couple weeks. They're finally getting it together. Mitch is playing really well. Their defense is playing well, and they're fighting for the playoffs. And the Jags know what they're doing. They really want the number 1 pick. They have it now, and they know how to lose. They haven't won a game since week 1. They know how to tank, and they're doing it really well. And they're going to lose this game really convincingly to a team that needs the win to hopefully get into the playoffs.
Yeah, my second lock, I'm actually gonna go Kansas City minus 11 against the Falcons. Falcons defense is gonna do nothing to stop that Chiefs offense, man. It's gonna be bad, and I just don't see the Chiefs coming with an 11 here. I'm sorry, I don't see the Falcons coming with an 11 here. The Chiefs are just a way better football team, and it's gonna show.
Yeah, I like those 2 a lot. And then my final one is going to be the LA Chargers minus 2.5 versus the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos just got absolutely smacked this past Saturday by the Buffalo Bills. The LA Chargers are actually coming off of a late game win. Anthony Lynn did not cost them a game down the stretch for once. And Justin Herbert's going to be clearly the rookie of the year this year. He has been the biggest surprise, definitely out of all the rookies, especially when people didn't think he was going to play behind Tyrod Taylor. And then the whole Tyrod Taylor situation ensued, and he has taken the reins of that team, and he's going to be the future of the Chargers. That offense will score all over Denver. Give me a field goal, easy, 2.5. Thank you, Chargers lock.
Yeah, my next lock, I'm going to go with Cleveland minus 9.5 against the Jets. Jets got their 1 win last week. That's it. That's all they're going to get. They're going to try to lose by so much this week that the win last week goes away. Cleveland fighting for the division, like I said. They're going to run all over the Jets. It's not going to be close. And the fact that this isn't even double digits is ridiculous. They're going to kill it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you, Justin. I like the Browns in this one. Their ground attack is going to really pound the Jets. I think that defense is going to be way too much for Sam Darnold. I mean, that's a sick, nasty defense, and I don't think the Jets are going to be able to come with.
Yeah, and the Jets have honestly, the Jaguars may have tanked, but in our lock, and they've actually won the season now in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes, and the Jets were hoping to lose every game and then ended up winning last week. So very unique in how we're taking them to both get blown out this week, because now they're all going to try and just lose handsomely, hoping that the other team will win. But Justin, Andrew, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day today.
That was
to come
awesome,
on Final
man.
Whistle. It was much appreciated. Go check them out on Ride the Couch at Tied Up Entertainment. You guys, if you guys want to say any final thoughts, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, this was awesome. Got to talk about a lot. Looking forward to possibly doing this again.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This was awesome. Love being on the Final Whistle.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do some more things together in the future.
Absolutely. Most definitely, guys. Well, reminder, everybody, there will be no Friday episode coming out because of the holidays. So enjoy your Christmas, enjoy your Kwanzaa. Have a happy holidays. We'll see me again next week. I'll have another guest on next Tuesday. Go check it out. Final Whistle. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy your week.